Welcome to Interview Skills in Moderately Interesting Places. I've lost my film crew for this one. This is number 3, about doing stuff. We're in the Sierra Nevada mountains. We're about 100 miles or so north of Yosemite in California. And we're going to talk about putting stuff in your CV. And by stuff, I mean projects, challenges, things you've done that are interesting, that an interviewer can pick up and ask you questions about. And they're going to come away thinking you're a really interesting person who's overcome some difficulties, is learning agile, can go off and research, can manage their time well, is out to make the world a better place, and if they're a commercial company, they make them some money. And it's basically showing you're not at risk and you're interesting and you can go and do things on your own. I can't tell you what stuff is. I don't know. It's different for everybody. A few years ago, I did a mock interview for a guy who'd made a Weasley clock. And the Weasley clock was inspired from the Harry Potter film, where the Weasley family had a clock, a magical clock that knew where everybody else was. So he used a Raspberry Pi and Wi-Fi and working out the distances and some calculation and to work out where his flatmates were. Completely useless, other than he learnt a lot of stuff and I was moderately impressed by it. So go away and have a think and have a look at your CV. If all you've got is your group project and nothing else, then most interviewers would count that as a weak CV. Group projects are great. They're there for you to be put under a bit of stress with a bunch of people who don't know what they're doing and for them to generally go wrong. But everybody else in every computer science department and most other departments will have done some sort of group project. So it doesn't set you apart. So it maybe is a little bit of your CV, but it shouldn't be a major part. It shouldn't be something that I have to dig around and use the group project to ask you questions. So go away, have a think what you can do. You might decide that you want to learn a new programming language, write some apps, write a Linux device driver. You might decide that you're going to go and volunteer for the Citizens Advice Bureau. It could be a whole range of things, and not just one thing. Don't rely on one unless it's a huge, really impressive project. We're not expecting you to get a Nobel Prize, but most interviewers will expect to see some content above and beyond your degree. If you're doing a computer science degree and I ask you what area of technology inspires you or you find interesting, and you go, well, I don't know really, that's not going to do well. Whereas you say, oh, well, I heard this great new programming language called Rust, and I went off and I wrote some of some maths problems in, and I benchmarked them against some other languages. We go, okay, well, you've shown an interest. Oh, that's great. So go off and find stuff that is going to set the script for the CV and to set you apart. The best time to do this is your first year. You've got time, at least more time than you have in your second, and it should be interesting, it should be fun. Yeah, you should be able to find at least 2 or 3 hours a week throughout your time as a first and second year to be able to populate your CV with interesting things. So when you come to doing a year in industry, if you choose to, that stuff is already there. You don't have to panic. No matter how good your interview acumen is, how good your presentation, how well you dress, if you don't have content behind it, you're not going to come across as an interesting person, and you're not going to come across as someone who has the skills that the interviewer is looking for. So the next talk is going to be on disabilities and what you can do about them if you have them and how to approach them.